Well, we have a wonderful show for you tonight. I'm very excited. I'm always excited about our shows, to be honest with you. I love what I do, and I love presenting and sharing knowledge and space with you all listeners and people who I have and invite on my show. We're dealing with the fall equinox this week, and I thought it would be a fantastic thing to invite one of my very dear friends on the air. She's agreed to come on 4 times a year around the equinoxes and the solstices to deliver a fantastic show mixed with beautiful messages, knowledge, ancient wisdom, and all kinds of wonderful goodies and treats for all of us. So tonight is the first night that we're going to be beginning this series for the rest of the year. We will be doing it again at the winter solstice, the spring equinox, and the summer solstice. The equinox occurs twice a year, approximately around March 20th and September 22nd, when the plane of the Earth's equator passes the center of the sun. At this time, the tilt of the Earth's axis is inclined neither away nor towards the sun, and the term equinox can be used in a broader sense, meaning the date when such a passage happens. The name equinox is derived from the Latin word equus, equal, and nox, which means night, because around the equinox, night and day are about equal length. We're talking about balance, times of balance. 4 times a year, 4 poles. We're going to be talking about the shifting poles. The sun is in the process of shifting poles as we speak now. NASA is about to announce that pretty much any time now. We've already begun the process of changing things and moving into different alignments. So joining me to share this fabulous, wonderful event is my wonderful friend and sister and teacher, and I just can't say enough good things about her, Maria Yraceburu. She is one of evolution's most prolific dreamers, and she is an award-winning author. She's done 13-plus books, I believe. Her and I are working on a project together. I'm going to do a plug for it because I'm very excited. And we have a book coming out together, hopefully before the end of this year. And you'll be hearing some more about that as we continue on in this hour. You can go to her website. She has several. There's a link right on my radio homepage here on Achieve Radio that talks about Tenochticoca Sanctuary, which is a New Mexico nonprofit 501c3 eco-spiritual community that we have established in New Mexico, the American Southwest. And it is open for people to come and visit. It is open for people to gather. She hosts events. We have elders that host events there. Lots of fabulous, wonderful, healing, beautiful energy just swirling there. I believe it's approximately 75 acres, 75 to 100. She can clarify that for us, but it's a lot of land and a lot of love and an amazing place to go. I've spent some time there privately and also in community there, and I'm absolutely honored to be a part of it. Again, Tenochticoca, there is a link on my radio homepage. You can click on it as you're listening today. You can also go to spiraldancinglife.org. It shows pretty much everything that Maria does, all of her books, her classes, her fabulous contributions to humanity and the planet. And you can read along, and she does readings now from what I understand, so you can schedule a reading with her if you'd like. But I'm going to let you guys explore that. All the links are available. And if you'd like more information on any of it, please feel free to email me, Hillary@HillaryRaimo.com, and I'll be happy to send you whatever you would like on that. So welcome, Maria.
Wow. Hello. I'm glad you breathe occasionally. You're starting to sound like me a lot.
Well, that was the shortened version, you know. I did have this long thing, and I said, well, let me just get to the goodies.
Reader's Digest version. It was perfect, and thank you so much for having me and allowing me the opportunity to be here with you on some of the biggest power days we experience every year, because I'm really looking forward to the things and how I see life changing and kind of slowing down a little bit, you know. I'm going to be a grandmother. I'm already a grandmother 19 years ago, but I mean, you know, like the serious Native American grandmother kind of thing. That's happening next year when I turn 60, and so I'm in transition, the world's in transition, I see all my loved ones in transition, so the best thing I know for any of us to do is sit down and talk about it so that we all have a good handle on where we're going and how to stay a path that keeps us walking in sacredness and the understanding that everything evolves and changes. So thank you.
Well, I have to tell everybody listening that Maria and I laugh a lot. We have a lot of fun when we talk about these things. We enjoy our work, and that's one of the things that she has taught me over the years as so many roles that she plays for me. But most importantly, she's a member of my family, and as far as I'm concerned, and so when we have these conversations and bring them to you, the listener, on the air, we're hoping to inspire you and to encourage you to further along the path of joy and beauty. And tonight, Maria, we were going to be talking about equinox messages and things coming through. And when I made up some of the promotional stuff for the show, there was a particular word that kept coming up when I was working on it and getting it all together. And it's something that a lot of people were curious about. I got some questions about it. What does alchemy mean? And what is it? And how? And so we're going to talk about that tonight. And we're also going to talk about a lot of other things and whatever else comes up. This is a non-scripted show. It's completely organic, and I have no idea what to expect. It's great.
Well, you know what? Now, you've been to our place, and so I know that you can picture this. I'm sitting in the dining room right this second looking out, and the coyote just came out from behind the tree.
Of course it did.
Behind your tree, you and Shadow's tree that you like to sit under on those hot days out here at the ranch. So, where I come from, that's a sign, and it says we're going to have a lot of fun today. It also is a message to my brother Philip, if he's out there listening. This is the third day in a row your kid's been here, so you got some things to do Sunday when I see you, man. So, let's talk about the equinox. I want to talk a little bit about who I am and growing up, because that makes all the difference in the world as to the things I'm about to say. I grew up a traditional Native American life, meaning the spirituality was more set towards Earth like maybe 100, 200 years ago. I had school and I had modern stuff, but my grandfather was on medicine, and this kind of was walking right up to the house. Interesting. I did have contemporary life, but my underlying foundation was the spiritual foundation that I grew up with from my grandpa, who was 83 years old the year I was born, and he managed to live until I was 17, and then he wasn't safe or nothing. He just got out and said, okay, it's your turn, and went to bed, and that was the end of it, and I've been doing this ever since. That our perspective on the solstices and the equinox, like everything, is how we live in harmony with the earth and her cycles and stuff. And these two, different types of days, the solstices are the very, very deep days. They're the ones where major transitions happen. And it's kind of interesting because in the major transition phase of the solstices, we go into the dream time, which is kind of the feminine realm. And then in the summer, we dance the wheel, we spend time hunting, we're doing things. It's active, but it's still kind of a relaxed time. But it's masculine oriented in that way. When we come to the equinoxes, hang on just a second, sweetie. I was laying bricks today and didn't drink enough water. So I'm going to have to take periodic breaks to drink, because if I talk nonstop, I'll start choking on you. So anyway, when we get to the equinoxes, these are the times where masculine and feminine are perfect balance, and that's when we get the most stuff done. It's when, in the springtime, when we're planting our crops and we're tending to the gardens and, life is bursting forth, and here we are, we're taking care of that and seeing that it will continue on to future generations. In the fall equinox, we're reaping the harvest. The abundance for wintertime is here. We're harvesting the gardens. We're going to a lot of festivals, a lot of family reunions kind of thing. So that's kind of the traditional perspective on things, okay? And everything that I do, and you can confirm this because you've sat with me for years now, and what we understand is that we all bring something to the table, and fall happens to be the big time for bringing things to the table, and that we are all necessary parts. We bring something else to the story that we write for next year, our experiences this year and how that happens. And, of course, everything spiritual, traditional, religious, how do you look at it? It's also metaphysical for the thing. Not metaphysical. Wrong word. Sorry about that. Metaphoric. Metaphoric for the things that are actually happening in life. They're tied to each other. You can't separate them. So we're going into a period where we're winding down. And nobody really knows what to expect because of the shifting weather patterns, which are also happening because of this. So we are being offered the chance over the next couple of years to dream reality the way we would like to see it. I have a lot of other physical friends and aunts and people that do different things. We're a pretty cross-cultural family. And this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius kind of thing, the elders were talking about it back then. And so we really are being offered a big opportunity right now. What are we going to do with this? We're coming to the end of the year of patience. We're getting ready to start the year of inner strength. And so right now, the big part of that is celebration of family. And I welcome all of you that are listening to the family because we truly are a family. It's not real hard to get rid of once we get going. But we have an understanding here because that is also based in the tradition I was brought up in, that, everybody has to pull their own weight. Everybody has to do it for themselves. And yet that's done within the context of the community, within the context of the family, which means we have cycles. That there are people going through initiation. There are people that are, having low and depressing times. There are people that are riding a high because they just did something fantastic. We see the ebb and flow, and we see that there's, no matter how bad or how good it gets for us, there's somebody still there in the family that we need to reach out to. Either we're helping or they're helping us. And it's a reciprocal relationship. It's played out every day in nature, every day in the universe, every day in our lives. And it's just with its existence. And so I think it's your turn to talk.
One of the things that when I was getting ready to do this show, one of the things I was contemplating on, just sitting with and feeling and thinking about was the concept of balancing light and dark, and how this grand moment in time that we're crossing through right now as we travel over the equinox, and it's happening to the planet, it's also happening to us, and how we are the microcosm and the macrocosm, and how we're all connected. And what was really sitting on the edge of my contemplation was, how to help people get into that state of balance where it's not about being too much in the dark or too much in the light or too much in your emotions or too much in your thought, too much in your body, all of these different polarities that we do hold in the third dimension, and how we learn from them. They're vital in our experience, in our soul experience, and how we constitute the putting together of who we really are and how we experience ourselves and others in this realm. And, the thought of balance and keeping that balance and being able to practice that and how hard that is for some people. And, even though they want to do it and they want to try really hard and they seek out, only the positive experiences or only the unicorns and daisies, and they don't want to look at anything over there, and how off balance that perspective can be, and how we have kind of nurtured that in the New Age community in some senses. But, I've been working with plants, and I've been working with you with the plant medicines, and so as I'm growing my own plants and I'm working with the plant medicines, it's kind of about going into the roots and understanding the whole process of the plant and how it grows and the nutrients that it needs. And it might sound basic, but what it's really been profound for me is the fact that it's very much the same as us growing into our evolutionary destinies in how we present ourselves and fit the form, so to speak. So there's no real question there, but I guess that it's just more of a comment and observation in my own workings. I'm sure you found a couple, though.
Yeah, everybody out there should know. This is how her and I communicate.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It is, because we're not here about, I'm going to teach you something or you're going to teach me something. It's about confirmation. We gravitate together because we are family. We carry certain concepts that are far beyond the history of Earth that call us together to sit and through our evolution to compare notes and make observances and point those out. And this helps us. This is our support system. Yeah, boy, that was a lot, kid. So there's a couple things that you did pose a question kind of towards the beginning of all that, and that was, how do we help people see this? How do we help people recognize this? And I actually have been working with a couple of people here just the last few days. I made a calculated decision about 6 months ago that if we were truly in the fifth world, then it was time that I started living fifth world dynamics. Now, you can look at this in many ways. In the fourth world, in the self-help communities, they refer to it as activism. Okay? But it's more than activism. It's having trust in these concepts. We've been going through this time of transition in Earth evolution that we call the fourth world, and in Apache cosmology, that was the fourth world of soul sickness. And that ended. Okay, the Mayan calendar ended, the Apache calendar ended, the Seneca calendar ended, almost every Earth tradition I know, it came to an end. And what we got going up into it, of course, was all the fear-based stuff, right? Because we're not going to exist anymore. Well, except for we have what we call the Seven Worlds Prophecies, and in the Seven Worlds Prophecies, we know after this one that we're currently in, which is brand new, we have at least 2 more to do. And we're not done till it's done, till it's over. And because we come from dreaming traditions that believe the other side, where I dream, is everybody bit as much real and valid as when I'm awake and living each day. The coyote's back, though. Anyway, because I come from this, to have faith in those concepts seems to be easier. Okay? And so then the dilemma becomes, okay, how do we translate everything we've been taught in the fourth world of I, me, into the re-understanding of Earth and living that way? And there's a couple of things. I used to tell a student long time ago, when I first started teaching, that every time we come into physical manifestation, we have already choreographed our life, okay? And if you look at the contract or the script or whatever you want to look at, you wrote it, Okay, that's one. You wrote it, and in each section of your contract, you have 8 different pathways to choose on how you will fulfill that. Just like the compass on the medicine wheel has 8 different magnetic directions. There is never a wrong way. We keep associating right and dark with wrong and right, and it's not. It's more about totality and how we view that, because both dark and light are totality. Black is our color of actualization, the Akini word. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And it is when we have incorporated everything into us. So you could prepare yourself at that moment in time, kind of like a black hole. You just suck everything in. Every piece of you, every relationship, every record is there. Every color exists in black. So when we're dealing with the polarities, what we see is in this world, according to our prophecies, not only do we have east and west, we also have north and south, okay? Now, north and south is what we had. About 1800 something, about the time that my great-great-uncle stepped forth and started talking about the prophecies of the fifth world in the Apache vision that he had, a guy named Cook discovered the Snowy Island that we now call Hawaii. And when he was going there, it's the first documented moment that sorry, I just lost my thought. Hang on just a second. It's the first documented time that they started to see that the North Pole was shifting and the magnetics of the web were changing. There's a great film out. It was a PBS documentary that actually kind of leads credence to some of this, and some people go with it and some people don't go with it. You know, it's all what resonates with you, you know. All truths are true if you believe them. That's what my grandpa told me. So you can be afraid of everything, or you can engage in life and celebrate it and understand that the challenges that are coming are just that. The challenges, they're not meant to tear you apart. They're not meant to make your life stressful or anything like that. So anyway, the PBS thing that was done was called Magnetic Storm. I told you about that, haven't I?
Oh, yeah, yes, yep.
Okay, a long time back, okay? And there's parts of it that I get real excited about, and there's other parts of it that I kind of like look at and go, well, okay, that's as much as they knew in the moment that they were trying to make this thing, okay? And that's kind of what we have to release to people, too. They know as much as they know, and that's how they act in life. Okay, and as they grow and fulfill their contract, they're going to know more, and things are going to change. And we see that in big leaps and bounds these days. So anyway, with Magnetic Storm, there is a lava canyon up in Oregon, and they do core drills there. And they've been doing this, God, for a long time. I think this thing's like 20 years old. But with it, they have tracked when the North and South Pole reversed. Okay? Now, the time factor, I've heard people say that the worlds are 25,000 years each. And that's not my understanding. I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm saying this is my understanding of how things are, okay? Is that the fourth world that we just left was something like 758,000 years. And that actually correlates pretty good with the core drills. Now, I was saying 758,000 years before we saw this video a long time ago when I'd go with my grandpa to different things. The next core reversal that happens in that canyon, it was 25,000 years before that. And then the one before that, I have no comprehension because I haven't, watched the thing in a while, and I kind of have like a little dolly stick, from Harry Potter that you put all your thoughts into. It's not a bowl. It's called a journal. And I use my journal for keeping track of documentation of things. I don't really journal like people that are processing. Mine's more about time tracking and documenting events that prove the prophecies and stuff like that. So anyway, with this so one of the things that our prophecy said, in fact, I'm hearing from my friends at NASA that is being tracked right now is the opening of an east and west polar axis. And this brings the true balance to the planet as far as the magnetic grid. The way it works is if I can get everybody to kind of visualize a big drum that hooks to its frame on four sides. If you've never seen a big leather drum from Native America, I don't know exactly what to tell you. It's like some could be 36 across and maybe 2 feet high, but they hang from a wood frame that basically is 4-axis poles. And so when you hook it up, anytime we look up on Mother Drum with people, I try to talk about this, is that you always hit the two polar axes that are across from each other. And so that would be your North and South Pole like we had during the Fourth and Third Worlds. We didn't have them in the First and Second World. But in the Third World, after time was invented, this is when we became polar. Okay? So you have your north and your south axis secured to your frame. Well, what you see is you see the wobble, the tilt with the world, because it's stable in one direction, but in the other direction it's free to flow back and forth. So when we hit the last two directions on the stand, we now have the east-west gate, which now stabilizes the drum so you can put 8 people pounding on it, driving the energy of creation out to all 8 of the magnetic directions. And it is a universal healing force. The east and the west axis, according to what I was told, are the feminine gates. So what you're looking at is you're actually looking at the San Francisco peaks above Flagstaff as the west gate, and the east gate is the Himalayas, the Five Sisters, which correlates energetically. There's some interesting things that are also happening right now between the Dalai Lama, the Tibetans, and the Hopi. And here in the very near future, there is going to be a great gathering where a giant mandala is going to be created that will reunify the Hopi and the Tibetans who believe they're related. So we have these things that are coming together. And it is being done now through the stabilization of the east-west gate.
I just want to go, yay!
Yay!
As you're talking, I'm making some notes here for people who follow me on Facebook. I'm posting some things that are coming out of this conversation, as well as some reference points. I put up the Nova Magnetic Storm DVD that she was talking about as well, if you were interested in tracking that down and getting a copy of it. So these things will all be there if you'd like to find your way to it, or just kind of rehash or join the conversation and talk about it, because Maria is on there with me, and her and I would be happy to talk to you guys about it and kind of go through some of the things that she's saying. I know when we're in the moment and we're just channeling things through or talking about things, we just sometimes forget. So I am taking notes in case you're not. So it's all on there if you'd like to follow along. When you were talking about the polarities, and I just kept getting this incredible, beautiful vision of the brain working in that way as well, as you were talking of the sun and the earth and how it's just a big sphere and the feminine gates are all coming coming through. And one of the concepts that you talk about a lot, Maria, and that I'm writing a new book called the Oracle series that will be coming out next year, is this return of the Oracle, the return of the channeling, the women waking up and having the voices come through and being able to deliver prophecy, visions, dreams, whatever it is that we used to have in our culture around the planet and has been somehow slipped and tucked away. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I do, because, most of the work we do these days, I have some men students, and we have a lot of men in our community, but a good part of them are supporting their wives as their wives are going through and learning how to work with the energies first. And I consider all the men in our family to be some of the most balanced men I have met on the planet. But that has a lot to do with when time started back in Atlantis. Anybody that knows about the Lemurian and the Atlantean legends knows that in Atlantis there was a lot of technology, and that's actually what we considered the third world when time was invented and things became polar. And in actuality, by the end of the Atlantean time, those that were in technology had separated so much from the planet that they actually lived in the clouds and earned the name afraid of the dirt people from those that stayed on the planet to, tend to crops and earth, basically life. So it's been the women. When we entered that time, the first two worlds were more of a feminine nature, more about love, more about emotion, more about family, and then we started moving into that, what my grandfather would call puberty stage of our development, where it became more active-oriented and more of the me, learning more about our own power, but then somehow losing sight that we need all the elements to be able to actually have any power. And so it became a time of great separation. When I talk to the spiral dancers, I talk about how in that third world time, each world was created for a different phase of our evolution. So we get a new piece of that. And we committed to 7 worlds. The 7 worlds are based on Pleiadian lineage. And so each of the worlds kind of carries a little more of one planet's purpose as opposed to other planets, because they have their own kind of astrology there. It's a lot like our astrology, but not quite the same. And so, it's like having a Cancer and a Scorpio. Each one carries different facets of who they are. And within those facets, those structures, we carry the crystalline structure, DNA of starseeds. A lot of others, we just sit and laugh every time somebody says they think they found the missing link, because they're looking the wrong way. Okay? They're looking for some guy out in the jungle or out in the middle of the desert, and they're not going to find it. They're never going to be able to connect the dots as long as they're looking out there. Fortunately, we have a lot of people that are looking up. So we're seeing things that are happening.
Gotta look up.
It's part of why you and I are friends, because you know one of those kind of people, and I know one of these kind of people, and together we come together, and then we go back and talk to those other people.
Oh, we sure do. Yes, we do.
So we're bringing 2 worlds together, and that's what this world, the 5th world is. It's the great coming together, where we pull all the pieces back into place.
So it's the great coming together, Tanashkara.
Yeah, that's actually the attaching name for the 5th world, and we chose to name our sanctuary that.
So when people come to you and say, Maria, show me the way, what do I do? What do you say?
I take them out back, I have them walk the medicine wheel, and then I have them sit in it for 2 or 3 hours.
She's not lying. She's telling the truth. That's exactly what she does.
And then when they're done, I have them tell me which direction they were most drawn to, which stone had the most impact for them. We have 24 stones in our medicine wheel that we work with. And then from what they tell me that they receive from Earth, then I can translate it for them. And I can tell them pretty much anything that's happened throughout this lifetime and sometimes others.
Well, if you're listening and you're interested in more information on speaking to Maria or working with her, either long distance or on site at Tenoshkada, you can go to her website, which is up on my radio homepage there, Yraceburu.org, YRACEBURU.org, Yraceburu Earth Wisdom. You can Google it, find it on there, and you can join her some way, somehow. I highly recommend it. It's changed my life completely. And so anyhow, we were also going to talk a little bit about Pleiadian prophecy and how the Pleiadian prophecy falls into what you would consider, the human evolutional where we're headed, basically. Where are we going? How does that fall into it? What is it? When people hear it, what should they cringe? Should they run? Should they go, oh?
Let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, next year we're going into what we're calling the year of inner strength. What does that mean to you?
Inner strength to me means basically being the center of the hurricane, being able to stand in the calm of the storm and be a pillar of grounded, rooted energy that can go up, 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 and down, down, down equally. And so when I think of that word, that's the image that comes into my mind.
Very good, because that is a good part of what next year is. Now, Akini. Let's talk about Akini for a minute. Akini means actualized human being. Okay? There is a word that if you trace back, which I really like to do because I cannot believe how far we have come in the meaning of our words. They're completely opposite to what they originally meant. Like awful used to be awful, things of that nature. And a long time ago, when they first started making dictionaries and things for people, we're talking recent history, okay? A lot of what we base our conceptions on are recent history. Even past life memories are recent history. They're all fourth world. What people are having a hard time understanding is there were 3 worlds before that, and there's 2 worlds ahead of this one, and they all exist at the same time. That's how we get into confusion.
So we're looking at it, we could look at it, I guess, in a sense, as a hologram, a multidimensional circular hologram instead of a line, because when people talk about time, they're so horizontal, and they think about calendars and weeks and days and hours and going forward and what we have to do tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year. So when you talk about time, you're talking about a holographic, circular, kind of a circumpunct where you're sitting at the center, and the time is basically all 360 degrees of that circle, yes?
Yes, and there are 7 wheels that spin around you simultaneously, overlapping. So one of the things that happened to me this last year, or not this last year, but in the fourth world towards the end, was I got hit by lightning, okay? When I got hit by lightning, I started to have vision overlapping. I would see a past lifetime where I would be doing something as that person, which was my great-grandmother, and that was, 1840 probably, and what I'm doing now. So, one of the things I was doing today was I was preparing herbs for the winter, okay? So I'm cooking them down, I'm making the oils, I'm getting things ready for the elders that we're going to need that we won't be able to harvest. And so that was one of the things I did today. Now, that's something that's very similar to something that would have been done back in Grandma's time. So one of the things that happens is I flip back and forth in what I'm seeing in front of me with my hand. Sometimes I see that I'm hearing contemporary time doing this, and it'll go back and forth with her being over a clay pot over an open fire doing exactly the same thing. This overlapping of vision became very frequent. First got hit by lightning. I had experienced it a couple times before that, but not to the extent that I do these days. And I learn a lot of things. It's like if I have a question, and I say like I got tired of the process for fixing this plant up, but I can't remember maybe another step. Well, there it is. I see my grandmother doing it through her eyes, and I just go there. So a type of merging of consciousness is happening in these first 4 years. We're going into the 3rd year of this new time we call Tanashkada. And one of the things is that our senses are being activated. Okay, with the dual polarity or quadarity is more what I like to call it, of 4 poles, the magnetic grid becomes more stable, and when she becomes more stable, we become more balanced in who we are. We're no longer walking around on a trampoline or a waterbed or anything like that. Think more of, at least you're on the deck of the ship now, okay? It's got a little more solid, big ship, not little ship, okay? It's got more stability to it. And one of the things that is happening, and science is backing me up every step of the way, is that all these senses are starting to awaken, and we're going to comprehend more like we originally did in the second world, okay, without timing being such a big factor. And this is the move back into the feminine. We're still going to have some of it to deal with. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's called evolution. It takes a little while. And these are the influxes of the Pleiadian energies that are changing us physically, okay? So in the 4th world, the blue star, that we refer to as the Puma Star sister, she was helping us heal our soul sickness. In our design to experience as many things as we could, we had to also write in human depravity. We had to write in the polarity issue, or we could never experience anything but love. So now we're moving back to the other side of that, just like we had in the second and the first worlds. And our physicality is returning to the crystalline structure. But it's a liquid crystalline, okay? Don't mistake it for the hard stone thing. While you have an alliance to those beautiful crystals that we love to use in our healing and our gazing and all the things we do with them, our form remains fluid. And we have 64 senses built into our human body that will all be activated by the end of the 5th world before we go into the second, in the 6th world. And that is the coming together. It's bringing it all back. The fact that we can taste our words. If you could taste your words, how many foul words would you be saying? Think about it. It's an odd way to get people to figure out that, you know, our spoken word is our power. This is how things are created, by reverberation of energy. And so if we're putting out hateful words, what are we asking for back in return? That's what comes back. That's what reverberates back. We attract everybody else that's carrying that same kind of energy. If we're putting out thoughts of love and positive, that's what we're going to get back, is that love and that positive. Now, I don't want that confused with you know, what you brought up earlier with all these people that are near fairyland. Okay? We're realists as well. You have to ground everything in earth if you want it to manifest. We don't know what's going on. We don't live our lives up in a cloud, not involved in life. It is in the involvement with life that things evolve. So to become airy-fairy is to say, I choose one, either to be a victim and let the rest of the world do this until I can no longer maintain that perspective, and then I'm going to, like, just, you know, mope or whatever. I did spend 7 years of my life as a victim. Don't be confused, folks. I do know what I'm talking about. But we have to make the conscious decision that that's not how we're going to live our lives to change it. Yep.
I'm here.
You know, God does strange things.
You know, my grandmother recently passed, as you know, and one of the grand lessons that's coming out of this for me personally is the acceptance of the honoring of the ancestors and the descendants. And how, and I've been writing about that on my blog, The Yin Factor, and here and there over the summer, sharing some experiences with her that I had before she died and as she crossed over. And I'm getting ready to write about my experience that I actually physically had happened to me while she was crossing over. I have not shared that story yet with anybody. But, you know, what I have really grown a immense appreciation for, and this specifically pertains to the Native American tradition, is how the honoring of the ancestors keeps you in touch with those dimensions. And I have never felt that to be more true than I have now.
Oh, definitely, because with all the coming together and the increase in our senses, that veil is going to get thinner. We're going to be able to feel them, see them, exchange with them more. And they were part of us, you know. Reincarnation, that's a fact, okay? But there is a part of us that never leaves that other dimension and is always there. And then there's the part of us that keeps returning and doing the work and stuff. That's the real polarity of life. It's to recognize that your higher self is your other polar self. They're there as a guardian to keep you out of trouble. They see everything. It's like the twin thing. A lot of people refer to it as the twin flame. It's not a lover, honey. It's the other side of yourself. A soulmate is what people talk about, but not a twin flame. A twin flame is your twin. When you're here, your twin flame is out there keeping track of you. When your twin flame's here on Earth, you're out there keeping track of your twin flame and the primary guardian for that person. Not only that, in the series of ancestors and multiple lifetimes, we are our ancestors. We are also our descendants. So the 7 years thing, or the 7 generations prophecy, hang on, water time. Is that we have to take care of the earth unto the 7th generation. So that not only includes all our children, our grandchildren, great-grandchildren. It goes out, we believe that we come back every 7 generations.
So do you know, when I talk or when I present this stuff or when we go into these topics, it's, you know, people say, oh yeah, you know, I get it, 7 generations down, we got to think about it, it's important. And some people really do, and they act in very great ways to do that. Yeah. You know, but when we look at the world platform and we see our leadership on the planet taking less responsible steps to consider the generations to come, there's often a feeling of helplessness in the fact that we can't seem to manifest what we want to be manifested as far as leadership goes on this planet. And so people will get angry or just get disinterested or be indifferent because they don't feel that they can actually influence anything. And one of the things that I don't believe that. I think people can certainly influence everything, including the weather, and including events and all kinds of things. And that's my belief system. But is there a critical mass that reaches when we're walking through these fifth worlds where people do come together and it begins to change the leadership and the larger macrocosm of the planet when we talk about structures such as governments, countries, these kinds of things? Where does this scale tip?
I can't give you a time frame on that. I can tell you it will happen. And this is what I have to say to people that come to me asking those questions is, how do you live out your life leadership in your community?
Good question. So how do you live out your leadership in your community? That's something I want people to walk away from with this show. Thinking about balance, thinking about equal light and dark, being able to appreciate both aspects of polarity that create a unified field of vision for manifestation. And, as we come to the end of the show, and Maria and I have talked about things and given you some things, replay the show, listen to it again, make notes, take notes, share it, and go through it, because it's a multi-dimensional conversation. And every time you listen, you'll hear something different. You'll hear something new. The same thing will go with the book that we're writing. It's a multi-dimensional book. It comes in exactly where you are. You will get out of it exactly what you need in the place that you're at. And then when you read it again, it'll change and change and change. It's a shape-shifting kind of multi-dimensional knowledge and understanding that her and I seek to share with you at this particular time in the Earth's process. So as our brains are unfolding into four poles, the sun is evolving into four poles, the Earth is evolving into four poles, we have a very, very magical, beautiful moment happening where we have an opportunity to embrace it, or we can just we're still going to be experiencing it. I think no matter what you think or do or say, you can't really get away from it, but you can choose to experience it in a very lucid manner. You can be awake and aware of what you're going through and how you're going to participate in it and how you're going to use your power. And I say power, and I know people have problems with the word power. Get over it. It's time to get over it.
Dai is our word for power, but it also means spirit. It also means the number 4. It also means holy. It's holy. All the same words, depending on how it falls in the sentence.
That's right. And so it's a multidimensional type of infusion of higher consciousness, and that is what we are here to do. We're here to help each other. It is not about I own this, I own that, mine, mine, mine. Those times are over. It's we, it's us. We are helping each other awaken. It is not about crazy. It is not about, needing medicine because you're hearing voices or things along those lines. It is about coming into relation with your higher self, your guardians, and all of the dimensional aspects that you are. And the equinox is a wonderful time to reflect on that. Bring it to the table. Show up to the table in your multidimensional self and be able to interact in a way that is effective on all dimensions, and see and practice it. And if it's hard for you, then just keep trying and keep practicing over and over and over again. Come to New Mexico, come to Tenashkara, and sit for a week and learn how to do it under my favorite tree. I promise you, the coyote will show up and Shadow Bear will be your faithful friend. Maria and Linda, both my just dear, dear, wonderful sisters and friends, and my life is just wonderful. Ever since they've come into it, things have changed drastically for me, and you know that. And so the thing, Maria, we're coming down to the last few minutes of the show. So in a closing message, I just gave mine. What would you like to share with the listeners?
Well, I'd like everybody to realize that as they're going into the fall equinox, this is a time to look at what doesn't work anymore, because that's what you're going to be asked to deal with in the winter. Celebrate the abundance and the love of life, and surrender to Naya Guchilana, the playful magic. Oh,
The playful magic. Well, thank you so much for being here, my dear friend, my dear sister, teacher. I just want to give you a big hug. I'm giving you a big, big hug over the airwaves, and I hope it ripples out.
264 and I'm 5 feet. Love you. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Well, guys, we're pretty much out of time, but I'm just going to give a couple events. There's some things going on. You can go to my website, HillaryRaimo.com. There's a new listing of events there. There are some things coming up. I will be doing a trip to Kauai, Hawaii in 2014 called The Return to the Garden of Eden. I will be working with movie producer and event coordinator Jim Law. I did a trip to Sedona with him several years ago, and we're going to be putting together a fabulous, wonderful get-together of kindred spirits. And Jim will be taking us to some sacred spots on Kauai, including the Tibetan temple, and we will be doing ceremony, and we will be working on exactly what we just talked about, the balance of male and female energies, and all of the wonderful polarities that we have in a very, very special, beautiful, sacred space. If you'd like more information, you can email me, Hillary@HillaryRaimo.com. And again, you can connect with me on Facebook, and I'll be happy to give you more information on that. Good night, everybody. Until next time, namaste.